Welcome, Marcel. Thank you for coming back and joining me. Welcome, everybody, to the room. My name is Nell Nicole. I will be your astrologer today. Welcome to Full Moon in Taurus, slash mini reading, slash chit chat discussion, what have you. Trying something a little different. Trying to actually turn on some music for you guys so we can kind of play some in the background and get this live a little bit more popping. I really want to increase the vibe and live up to my name, high vibe, get the vibrations up. So I'm gonna play some of the beats that I've been working with because I think they are vibe. You know what I'm saying? All right. If you just give me 1 second. Ooh. And at the end of this live, happy 11/11 as well. Yes, Marcel, 11/11 or 111. All those have been major codes that have been, popping up lately. Today is November 11th, so a lot of people are utilizing this energy to help aid with manifestation. We're going to talk about all of that. Give me just 1 second. If y'all here, make sure you like the video, share the video with some people that you think might be interested in this type of stuff. Y'all know when I get those likes, I know what you guys like, and I come back with more content just like it. So I'm looking for a particular folder. Because when I start playing this music, I don't want to have to worry about it anymore. Let's see. Hi, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the live. I'm going to wait for a few more people to enter the room. We're talking about the full moon in Taurus happening tomorrow, November 12th. November 12th. All right, I give up. I'm getting ready to play. And let me connect Alexa real quick. Marcel, what do you be typing? Every time you type something, it gets redacted. Like, why are you being blocked? We about to get into it, y'all. Oh shit! Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I just threw Alexa off the lid by accident. Keep in mind, everyone, please keep in mind, Mercury is retrograde, so you can only expect things to kind of go a little haywire. Thank you all for being so patient. Let me get the vibes right. Today I plan on being here for a couple hours with y'all. Hi, Phyllis. Welcome to the live. I plan on staying on a little bit longer with y'all than I normally do. So let's really get it popping. I did a live last night where I actually offered some readings and stuff like that, and I was so sad because I had to hop off like super early. But at this point, like I said, I'm stationary. I'm ready. Yes, like this video. Life with Lo says, please like this video. It shows me, guys, that you like the content and you want to see more. Dang it, come on. Y'all, I need a new laptop. Look at this thing. This thing is busted down, honey. There's nothing open. I'm not doing anything crazy. It's taking this long just to play a freaking MP3. You see, I got the rainbow wheel of death. If anybody knows how to fix laptops, somebody take it. It's got all new hardware, as a matter of fact, too. Like, I'm so irritated. So we get ready to get into it. This video is going to be centering around the full moon in Taurus. Towards the middle of the video, I'll start taking donation-based readings. You gotta leave me a minimum donation of $10, y'all. Like, this is helping pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? This is my life's work. Like, this is my business. I actually have an LLC where I do private readings for people, and I really want to be able to reach the masses and kind of open up this whole realm of what astrology and what I like to think of as like the esoteric sciences, how they can help people. And so that's why I do these lives, because I want to inform you guys of all the energies that you have, like I said, available to you, what it is that we're dealing with. It can help explain a lot of the things that you're seeing in your daily life where you're like, this just doesn't make sense. Everything has ultimate divine order. I think that astrology is one of the ways to help break down those ideals and kind of like, it's another, what the hell is going on right here? What was that? Some little static? Okay, but yeah, sorry. Astrology is one way to help break down what what we're dealing with here. It brings the ideas of spirituality and everything down to earth for you, so you can see the practical application of things, if that makes sense for you guys. So when I do these mini readings, y'all know this is the cheapest that you can purchase time with me. Other than that, you're gonna have to email me or go at nellforhighvibe@gmail.com, or you can go to nellnicole.com in order to purchase a reading, which all my readings run for about an hour long, so that can kind of show you the difference, between a mini reading and a regular reading. Mini readings I do maybe 10, 15 minutes a person. I still go pretty in depth with those though. For those of you who have seen me before, y'all can probably attest to that. So if you're still here with me, go ahead and like this video. I'm determined to get some music playing. Yeah, it was like a static, some weird something was going on. It wasn't playing what I was asking it to play, child. Um, but it's because my laptop is moving so crazy slow. Like, it acts like everything I ask it to do is just too much. Come on. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm so sorry. I should have had this prepared beforehand, but like, how long should it take in real life? Let me see. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I'm about to turn this damn laptop in and take it to the pawn shop and buy a new one. Should I give it back to Apple? Does Apple do buybacks for stuff like this? Whatever. Music isn't on the list. All right, I'm gonna put this right here, and if it gets figured out, it gets figured out. If not, it just won't. Okay, so I got my notes. Y'all know I always come prepared with notes. So and look, I'm still on here trying to figure this out. Whatever. So full moon is happening in Taurus. So actually, I want to kind of back up a little bit because y'all know that full moon that's getting ready to happen is going to be happening tomorrow. And today we actually have some transits going on that are very interesting. The sun is currently in Scorpio. So what that means for everybody is that right now tends to be a time of reflection. To me, Scorpio energy tends to reside in the past. It always wants to look at what has happened and dig a little bit deeper to figure out how things transpired and how to like purify. So with Scorpio energy, a lot of times stuff kind of falls apart. I'm not gonna lie, like the energy likes to look at something and see all the ways in which it's not being its most authentic self is what I want to say. And so it'll break things down. Like say you're in a relationship with a Scorpio, or you have a Scorpio friend, they'd be the one that's not going to let you bullshit them. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, it can increase arguments. It can make you really, really on edge. It can make people a little bit more self-aware and aware of the people that are around them. It can cause like paranoia. Actually, Scorpio energy, I think, is responsible for um, just a really, really uh, what do I want to say? Almost a suspicious disposition to things. Like you don't trust people. But the good thing is this placement is actually the Scorpio sun is conjunct the Mercury of right now. So like Mercury is all about talking, connectivity, getting with another person in order to discuss notions and ideas and just giving and receiving information, right? And so when the sun and Mercury are conjunct, in Scorpio, I feel like there will be a lot of communication, like with people trying to get down to the bottom of things. People trying to really see the oh my gosh, people are really going to be trying to see what your true intentions are. You might get a lot of telephone calls simply because Mercury, right, is the planet of communication. So people are going to be reaching out, trying to talk to you, trying to really see what you kind of got going on right now. Um, and it's funny because I've actually been really seeing that for myself. Like lots of people have been hitting my line today. Um, all while Mercury is retrograde. So like I feel like it's a little bit of a whirlwind. But also there's very opinionated talk, ego-based talk, because the sun is talking about how you see yourself. And so I feel like I'm so scatterbrained, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to play some music. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, that's not it. It's this one. All right. 1 second, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second because I finally got my computer running. Oh, fuck. That's not it either. Where the hell did I put this man's stuff? I'm gonna just play this. Oh my gosh, that's not it either. Y'all, I'm going crazy right now. I know where my beats are, yo. Like, Mercury retrograde is fucking with me something serious. Something so serious right now. Oh my gosh. Where did I put this guy's stuff? Oh well, it's their mission. You guys argued during the Scorpio Mercury retrograde. It revealed a lot. Yeah, like right now, you're going to be having communications with people where you're going to start finding certain things out. Like people are going to be um, more vulnerable during this time because Scorpio season is about addressing those really touchy, deep, dark areas of the human psyche. So it gets crazy. Like everybody's situation will be different. Everybody's life is different. You know what I'm saying? How people handle things, everybody's personal astrology is different. But at the same time, I noticed that this is a time where, and also Scorpio has a lot to do with legacy and family. So as you can notice, as we come upon the holiday season, people are trying to connect more with their families and get together with the people, even if it's not your blood relatives, like the people that you feel you're holding dear and close. Like you guys are have to make arrangements to meet up because it's getting colder outside. Here, I live in Michigan. We just had the first official snowfall of the season. Like this week, actually, it snowed on Halloween here. Go figure. But today, like we had a little bit of a snow day. Um, and so it's just about getting intimate, right? Being in your place of comfort with the people that you love, and Mercury being there with the sun is what's going to make it so that there's that probing aspect to it where there is a level of communication that's going to be had. Okay, so people are going to want to talk about not just the fun, fluffy stuff, but they're going to really want to talk about the family drama, the family business. People are going to have a lot to say. These two planets remind me of the ego and the mental state meeting. And so, um, people are going to really be. I mean, everybody's dirty laundry is going to be getting talked about, is basically what I'm saying. And people that feel like they're like on a higher level than other people, there may be that element of egotistical, taking an egotistical approach to it. Um, but yeah, and people want to say things that are going to really get your attention because the sun is about being seen and getting people's attention and really having the conversation revolve around them. um, as you can see, like even with me, your mental state might be a little bit more hyperactive because that Mercury conjunct the sun. I'm good. Thank you, Music for the Vibe, for joining me. Um, and like I said earlier, lots of telephone calls. So that's like the precursor to the full moon. Okay, so now that we're at that point, tomorrow is when the actual full moon is going to happen. So what I like to tell you guys about full moons is that the day of the full moon is when the energy is going to be the most potent, but a couple days before, and I'll say a few days after, it'll have a extra sense of like urgency. The themes and situational topics of the full moon will be at a forefront for like the day before, the day of, and the day after. But then the effects of what happens during that time will last for the next 2 weeks. So the old wives' tales are true. People really do be in their bag on a new level, okay, when the full moons happen, because full moons pull at us, right? They pull at our emotions. It's like during that time, everybody wants to fuck with you and get a certain response from you. The theme of the full moon is going to be determined by what sign the moon is in and what house it falls in for you. Um, but so let's talk about this one. The full moon in Taurus this time is going to be about completing long-term goals. I did do a little research this time because sometimes first of all, the moons happen in every sign every year. So now I'm at a space where, as an astrologer, I want to become more exact in like my dissertations to you guys. And so what I kept seeing when I was doing my research was completing long-term goals, completing long-term goals. And that is so Taurus. Taurus is the sign of growth and development. I tell people that all the time. If Taurus really had to have a ruling planet, in my mind, the traditional ruler is Venus, but I think Taurus should be ruled by Earth. I think Earth represents Taurus energy to a T. Um, because Earth is this feminine, nurturing planet where the conditions are just so perfect that like human life can exist here. We have all different types of species, and lots of life forms, right? And within that you have evolution, and within that you have creation and growth and achievement, and like, you know, people, or whenever you're growing something, it has to be nurtured. What does that take? Time, space, attention, shelter, food, nourishment. You know what I'm saying? And so Earth is sort of like the planetary complement to all of those ideas to me. Um, so right now, you like, it's harvest season. Like, come on, it's not rocket science. All the stuff that you've been working on up until this point, it has the potential to come to a head at this point. So whenever you have a full moon, it's about releasing things in order to utilize those energies of the moon to your best usage or whatever. I can't talk literally right now. Mercury retrograde is kicking my ass. But yeah, so for me, it's about releasing any challenges that have to do with the way that you go about acquiring safety, the way that you go about creating space for yourself in the world, releasing any blockages or challenges that keep you from feeling as grounded as you possibly could. Taurus energy is about getting everything together so that you can live a full, sustained life, right? Miss Vernell, hey Miss Vernell, what's going on, girl? So yeah, so getting everything together so that you can be full, you can be abundant, you can be comfortable, you don't have to worry, you can be prepared is another Taurus word. Um, yeah, just getting everything just so to the point where you have this cute little environment for yourself, and it reminds me so much of like hibernation. You know what I'm saying? This full moon, it's like if it's not serving you, cut that shit out. If it's not gonna help you stack up your walls with stuff that you feel like you're gonna need for this winter season from now until, you know, next February type stuff, then you need to hang it up, okay? And it might also have a energy of like things getting really, really real and really, really grounded for you, because this full moon is going to hit you in the Taurus, okay? So Taurus is not about thoughts and feelings and emotions and all of that. Taurus is about cold, hard facts. It wants to know what exactly needs to happen to get from point A to point B, what exactly you need, and do you have all this shit, and are you prepared when the storm hits, okay? Let me see what my notes say. Full moons often, because the energy is so high and the moon's tides are pulling at all of the water in our bodies, right? It can feel a little bit draining. And like in the sky, the moon and the sun are actually in opposition to each other, and so that pull can feel very exhausting. A lot of people will talk about either sleeping in really, really like hard on full moons, or having extreme insomnia, which that was me last night. I was up twiddling my freaking thumbs, like what the heck. And I was praying for a snow day today. So the universe came through, and I was able to sort of relax at home, which is also another very Taurian sort of something that Taurus would really appreciate, okay? So let me see. There could be inner tension between your ego and your emotions. So right now, the moon is going to be in Taurus. The sun is actually in Scorpio. And so the dichotomy between the two is about acquiring versus sacrifice. So it could be like anything where you have those, anywhere in your life where you carry those themes of like, dang, am I supposed to hold on more so and be a hoarder like a Taurus, or am I supposed to release and let it burn and let it go? That's going to be the balance for you guys for the next 2 weeks. Let me see what else I have. So be prepared to have, like I said, those conversations with Mercury also being in Scorpio right there with the sun. It's going to be pulling opposite this moon for these next few days. And so those trigger points, those conversations about, even people feeling like they deserve to leech onto you, that's another Scorpio trait, where Taurus is more so like, nah, I'm gonna just take care of me and mine. I'm gonna take care of my own bubble. um People in relationships might be trying to like gaslight you and get you to feel as though you're not doing enough for them. And so the issue of like boundaries and like resources and how you share your resources, whether or not you share your resources, that's going to be a trigger point as well. Anytime there is a full moon, like I said, prepare for having intense emotional responses to these types of triggers. And it's a great time to detach from any vices that you may have. If you know that you're taking your resources and you feel like you're spending them and you're not able to hold on to things right now. Hi, Miriam. Welcome to the live. Right now would be a time to devise a plan to sort of patch up any loose holes that you have in your shit. So yes, I'm absolutely doing readings. I'm going to be taking a minimum $10 donation. You can either do it via Super Chat or you can do it via paypal.me/Nell4High Vibe. That's my PayPal link, the quick link for that. Um, and so I'm going to be doing full moon readings. Let me get this laptop up and running. Full moon readings, where I put your chart in and I can tell you exactly how the full moon is going to affect you for these next few weeks. Give me 1 second, y'all. This is why I wanted some music playing. I was trying to get live for this one, like, and have a little something going on in the background. I feel like I always have to be so entertaining on these lives. I need an assistant in real life. Oh my gosh, this laptop is giving me the flux. Is it Mercury retrograde? Because I swear, ever since Mercury went retrograde, my shit has not been messing with me at all. So let's keep talking. Um, but yes, was it Miriam? You can absolutely book your reading for this live. I will read live so that you guys can all witness how the readings go and what all information can be made available to you. I'm just gonna wait for you to go ahead and make your donation, and then I'll read you as soon as I see it pop up. Um, Let me see. So, Mars is also sextile Jupiter right now, which it has nothing to do with the moon per se, but like the overall energies. Well, it's getting ready to sextile Jupiter tomorrow. But the overall energies that are being made available to us, it will offset some of that intensity of the full moon, if that makes any sense. So Mars being the planet of initiation, being the planet of going out there and achieving and getting things done, and like really having a to-do list and knocking that bitch out, right? And checking it twice. Um, and also the planet of our aggression. It shows us where we're taking action. Hi, Karma Flores. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining me for my live. But yeah, so the action seeking planet, right, is partnering up. Yes, Karma, you can go ahead and get a reading as soon as you do your minimum $10 donation, either via Super Chat or you can donate via Nell4Highvibe@gmail.com. T, hey T. Girl, I need some help, girl. Tiara. I wish you could help me. I'm trying to play this music for the last hour. That's my best friend, y'all. Everybody say hi, Tiara. So yeah, what was I gonna say? Mars, Libra, sextile Jupiter. Okay. So the action seeking planet of Mars is in Libra. So right now, a lot of people want to strike balance. They want to find harmony in their situation. They just want to be all right. Libra is the planet that it is cardinal and it does want to initiate change, but it wants to initiate a change that's going to be more harmonious for everybody involved. And it's sextiling Jupiter, so it's making a positive aspect to Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet that is ruled by, it's actually in Sagittarius and it's ruled by Sagittarius. It's the planet of luck, planet of good fortune, the planet of wherever it goes, it makes things greater and bigger and more optimistic, and like you have better chances when Jupiter is on your side. So, yeah, those two together, it's a very fortunate influence. There's lots of good aspects that are going on with this full moon, and that's like one of the heaviest ones because what it's telling me is when you take action and when you do things, especially if it's going to be um, you negotiating with people. These are all Libran things. Negotiating with people, meeting up one-on-one to discuss plans, to discuss terms, how you want to take action to doing something. Anytime you're going to partner up, it's going to be really, really looked at very well this next couple weeks. Any business contracts that you go into to sign, anytime you're trying to relate to another person, so it doesn't necessarily have to be all business, because Libra is also personal relationships. Anytime you're going to go and sit down with an open mind and say, okay, we're going to speak to each other with the intention on understanding and coming out of this whole situation better than we entered into it. When you sit down and do that, you're going to be blessed by Jupiter, okay? Because Jupiter is going to make it all smooth out okay. Now the thing about it is, it's just a heavy, what do I want to say, it's sweetening that full moon, but that full moon is also um, opposite the sun and Mercury. So, like I said, there's gonna be tough talks having to be had right now. There's gonna be some vulnerable conversations that are gonna need to be had right now. So prepare yourself for that. Don't sit down and think that just because you and another person are having a conversation that it's just going to be peaches and cream. You're going to have to talk about some things that, I'm not going to say it'll make you angry, but it may just make you feel a little bit vulnerable, right? And it may have to do with what you have, what your accomplishments are, what you've acquired, how you can acquire more, how you can come into a space of power, right? Because that's what the Mercury wants, and that's what the sun wants, right? And the full moon wants it too, but they just go about it in two different ways. Because Taurus is, which is where the moon is, and Scorpio, which is where the sun and Mercury are, those two things are completely opposite each other. And anytime you're dealing with an opposition in the zodiac wheel, it's tough. It's just not, you have to learn how to utilize the principle of balance and really put that shit into play. Let me see, Miss Vernell, because I know you said something else. You said, how am I today? Today, I'm good, but my energy does feel a little hyperactive right now. I'm trying to get this working. Mercury retrograde is messing with me. Your question was, what kind of moon does Mercury bring out of me? So I actually haven't done my own astrology for today to see exactly where everything is, but let me see if I can think of it in my mind. So the full moon will be in Taurus. Taurus rules over my 11th house. And so I would say, and opposite my 11th house would be my 5th house. So 11th house is Taurus, 5th house, which is weird. Is my 11th house my Aries? I actually have 12th house Taurus, opposite 6th house Scorpio. That's how my chart is laid out. So I will be dealing with the issues of my subconscious mind and myself and my own insecurities and my own hangups, right? Versus my professional life and my daily life and my routines and my time management and my health and my employment, which is in my daily life, which is, yes, that's exactly what's going on. So I'm trying to see, like, for myself, how I can balance those two things out and how not to feel, because I know for myself personally, I put a lot of energy into my job. I put a lot of energy into doing these types of things for you guys, and I know that I can be better, right? And so there's a lot of stuff going on for me in my personal life with my employment. I'm actually looking towards a promotion right now. So yes, big ups for Nell. You know, I got a day job, y'all. I don't just do readings all day. I fit readings in, around my day job schedule, okay? So, um, but in that realm, I actually just had a conversation today about some things that were going on at work. And, like, I'm not gonna lie, my ego came out. I'm not gonna lie, my ego did pop out. But it was more of an ally that I was speaking to. But yes, I woke up to lots of text messages from my job and or about my job, and lots of conversation was had about how I feel about certain things. And it did come down to that for me. But, like, personally, what most people would know is that where that full moon is, which is in my 12th house, which it may be in my 11th house a little bit. I have to look, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but yeah, that 12th house aspect is definitely there. I was talking to my best friend earlier about just how to overcome some of my own blockages that I've been putting up. And so, what's funny, Tiara, if you're still here, you have to prove to these people that we actually had this conversation. But after I get off of this live, I'm gonna do some manifestation work. And I was telling my best friend I want to write down a list of things that I want to release and a list of things that I want to transpire or pull into me, or you know a list of things that would describe the reality that I want to actually walk into. So yes, doing lots of subconscious work, lots of practical magic and applications. And y'all know I believe in all of that stuff: manifestation, um, just law of attraction, all of that. So that's what this full moon is bringing up for me personally. So yeah, hopefully it all goes really, really well. I wish I could pull this chart up right now. Luckily, I haven't had anybody purchase a reading just yet, so I have a couple more minutes of time to do this. But yeah, guys. Let me see what else is in my notes. We also have a couple other things going on that I'd like to touch on with this full moon. The So the Mercury and the Sun that are sitting in Scorpio right now will actually be working with Pluto and Saturn, which is sitting inside of Capricorn. I didn't do a vision board for the year, Miss Vernell. I didn't. I've been working with my same old vision board. I probably should do a vision board like this week, like today. When I get ideas, I'm like, let's do it right now. Okay. I got astro.com up. So if anybody wants to purchase a reading, I am here. I am ready. I am available. All right. So yeah, y'all. The different stuff that's going on. Mercury and the Sun working with Pluto and Saturn. That's really actually very good because Pluto and Saturn being in Capricorn, if y'all watch my lives or if y'all meet me here often, y'all know I'm always talking about those placements because I feel like they're so heavy. Pluto and Capricorn, they don't give you no fucking breaks, yo. Like you gotta wait years to get from up underneath that chokehold of death that is presented to you when you have Pluto and Saturn um in one sign. And the fact that they're in Capricorn, anybody with Capricorn placements has been feeling it, okay? Or anybody actually with cardinal placements. So that's Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and Aries has been feeling that energy lately. But the fact that it's sextile the Mercury and the Sun in Scorpio right now is like, I just feel this evil, like egomaniacal energy coming together. Like people are really going to be self-serving right now, just doing what they need to do to get to where they need to go to produce whatever results they need to produce. So it gives me more of an energy of like how Capricorn is really enterprising and wants to get things done and wants to build. That's what Pluto and Saturn are hitting the nail on the head with. They really want to see what it is that you come up with like after all this time. I know y'all hear people talking about 2020 a lot and how like if you don't got your shit together by 2020, you better watch out, like all this stuff. It's real because these are two of the planets that are going to come through to do the checks and balances to make sure that you're learning your lessons and you're not skipping any steps, and like you have to kind of go the long way about getting the things that you want because Capricorn wants you to have real longevity and real success. Pluto wants you to have real longevity to be able to pass it down through generations and to be able to like burn anything that's not serving you to the ground to reproduce anew. Think of the phoenix energy, right? So it's not gonna let you bullshit. Like you gotta have all your stuff evened out to be able to take flight like the phoenix, okay? Um, and then the sun and the Mercury is like, okay, well, how do I see myself? How am I identifying myself right now? How am I gonna define myself? How am I gonna acquire this level of power in order to push my agenda? Because that's all Scorpio wants to do is push its own agenda and do the thing that it feels like will bring it the crown, right? And so that's why I was talking to y'all earlier about the ego meeting the mentality. It's like, who do you say you are? Who do you think you are? It's time to present yourself in that way. And also, you're gonna want to talk to people about it. You're gonna want to, bounce your ideas off of some people. You might have to hear some hard stuff like, hey, you got good ideas, but you're just not working hard enough, or you know, you got good ideas, but you're just not as disciplined, Capricorn, as you need to be, or um, like some of the conversation, if you're talking to people, like I said earlier, I was kind of speaking to an ally, it's like, no, this is why you're good, and this is why, people that are bigging you up, having those vulnerable conversations where you're able to come together and uplift people. Hi, Kiana, welcome to the live. So hopefully you guys can utilize this full moon energy to be constructive, right? Because that's what Taurus wants, that's what Capricorn wants, that's what Scorpio wants. They all want to acquire a certain level of respect for themselves, and you only get that to that point where you only get to that point when you're doing the work. You're only going to get to that point when you're sure about yourself. You're only going to get to that point when you're able to be decisive about what you want, who you are, what you expect, what your expectations are, so on and so forth. I'm going to pull up my chart right now just to kind of see how the transits are affecting me. And I can kind of talk to y'all about it. And then if anybody is interested in a full moon reading, I'm actually taking those. You just need to either leave a super chat with a minimum donation of $10, or you can go to paypal.me/Nell for High Vibe and leave it there, and I will read you live. I will put your stuff in astro.com and do your reading live. Let me see. It says, with Mercury now, I understand you. The power you need, fire and earth energy to make it move, and you need the fire to burn off. Yeah, like there's lots of earth energy going on right now. And then Scorpio is actually a water sign, but for some reason it strikes me as very fiery because I don't know, they're a fixed sign. So when they commit to something and they latch on to something, they see it through until the end. Okay, so I don't know if whoever didn't see the beginning of the slide, you might not have heard, but I did say that the theme is going to be completing long-term goals. So it's really burning through all of the muck and mire and bullshit that you tell yourself, that stands in between you and what it is that you really, really want. Hey, Phyllis, welcome back, welcome back. I'm going to do my own reading right now to kind of start the whole thing off. If you guys have any other questions, though, I'm always open to take questions and stuff like that. Until we get people who are interested in readings. So y'all can ask me about the aspects. I actually have a couple other aspects I can talk to y'all about. But it's whatever. I'm just trying to, take it easy, chill out, spend some time with y'all. Okay. Hi, Asia. Welcome to the live. Ooh. Okay. Pulling up my chart as we speak. So, this thing is so particular. We also have some, I was mentioning there's a lot of good aspects going along with this moon tomorrow. We have the moon trine Saturn, which for me talks about, because the moon is in Taurus, trining Saturn, which is in Capricorn. So there's a lot of energy that's going to be able to help us remain grounded if you reach out and accept it. I did a reading for a young lady last night, lovely young lady. I actually, most of my advice to her for this time was to begin taking her time management really, really seriously. I feel like through my research of like just successful people, you know what I'm saying? Virtuous people, people who I look up to, they tend to have abundant lives. Um, and the way that they get to those abundant lives is they do the work that is asked of them from the universe. They understand that they have to co-create within the laws of the universe. And so what I mean by that is we all know gravity exists. If you throw something up, it's going to come down, right? And everybody has their own little flavor, the way that you choose to do things, but there are laws that govern our life and how energy works within this field that we're in. And one thing that we know is time is a man-made construct, but at the same time, it helps us be real, and it helps us be grounded with the rest of everybody else, which is going to increase worldwide harmony. You know what I'm saying? Like they say there's only 6 degrees of separation between you and everybody else in the world. And so we're not only co-creating our own existence, but we're co-creating within a field, right? And so when you can grasp on to that field and learn the rules, you can break them even easier. I say that to mean people who work 9 to 5s, and I'm one of them, okay, who lead that lifestyle tend to think that that's the only way to live until you see a millionaire or somebody who's really, really wealthy who creates their own lives, and they tend to do less work than the working class, but they have more money and more access and more health care and more this and more that and more that and more that than most people. And you wonder why. I think it's because they take control of their own time. They don't allow another person or another entity to dictate what they do with their the resources that we've been given on earth. Time is one of them. Resources is one of them. Money is one of them. Food is one of them. Energy and attention is another resource, right? And so before another person can come and tell them, hey, this is what time you're going to come to work. This is how many off days you're allowed to have. This is the type of health care you're allowed to have. Before they ever accept that from another entity and accept those boundaries that another person or company could put on their lives, they take control of it themselves. And so millionaires and people that's really on that wave of abundance, them motherfuckers keep notebooks. Them motherfuckers keep notes. They keep schedules, okay? Um, those are the types of people that literally schedule their day down to the increment of minutes. Like 10 minutes to have this phone conversation, then no, I gotta hang up because I got some other shit to go do. And it doesn't become overwhelming for them. Hi, Pam, welcome to the live. It doesn't become overwhelming for them because they have that level of discipline. Discipline is another thing that Earth in this realm really likes. It likes discipline, it likes order, it likes cleanliness, it likes decisiveness, it likes um you have to learn how to also let go of all of that and allow the world to meet you where you are. But at the same time, when you're prepared, it's better to be overly prepared and then things not necessarily work out how you thought, because then at that point you've done all you could. You see what I'm trying to say? As opposed to just giving up and being like, well, I'm not in control of anything, so I'm just gonna let life happen to me. No, you don't want to do that. And right now is one of those times where, like, if you're tapped into, oh, thank you, Pam, I love you too. If you're tapped into that esoteric knowing that like discipline is the way to freedom, that's what this whole little talk was about. Discipline is the way to your own freedom, and it's the way to access, and it's the way to choices, and that's how you can really open up your orb in order to see more and have new, better experiences, right? um these planets are really, really aiding in that. All this Capricorn energy, all this Pluto and this Saturn in Capricorn, that shit is trying to teach us how to break the chains of our ancestral like hangups for real. Look at you and all your fucking friends. Like I'm just telling you, look at the people that you know in your life. What's everybody's issue? People are going through. First of all, we're in a time in the world where the internet is like expanding like a mug. Like you can look on YouTube and find video topics on almost everything concerning the human condition. Like we can go to WebMD right now and probably find out what that little mole on your toe means. You know what I'm saying? Like we have access to so much that even our parents, the people who were born, I'll say my parents were born between the 40s and the 60s. So even that generation didn't have as much access to the stuff that we have access to now. So things like I don't know why this topic is coming up, but like that lady that beat her son ass, like she beat his ass in school, and somebody was recording it, and like it went national, and then she got her kids taken. I know of people that happened to when I was going to school. Like I seen that shit from, it never happened to me, but I seen that shit happen firsthand. And like back in the day, you could get away with that type of stuff. Back in the day, people were not educated as far as what the laws really, really were. Like of course you don't beat your kids to a pulp, but like spankings and stuff like that, like people, there weren't as many guidelines. And now it's like if you don't know that shit, you're out of the loop. Society is literally changing as we speak. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So like, what am I trying to say? Being that we're in this age where we're given all the tools, think the ante has been upped a little bit. We're in the information age. If you don't know better about certain shit at this point, it's because you don't want to know better. You're being willfully ignorant. People are being so racist right now, it's ridiculous. And like nobody in this country, between the parameters of America, the United States, North America, can tell me that they don't understand racism. They don't understand how people weaponize it. Like, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what the topic is, we're open to so much right now. And so if you're not with the shit, if you're not steadily evolving like along with the rest of humanity, then you're gonna reach this blockage. You're gonna reach this plateau. But like I said, those topics are endless. If you don't have financial awareness or understanding of how to gather your finances and get your shit together at this point, it's because you don't want to know. And so the universe knows that. The universe knows it before we even fucking do. The universe already understands everything that has happened and everything that will go on, and the timing and all of that shit. So like, but we all have free will still within these confines. So it's your choice. The choice is yours. We can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. You feel me? And so all these planets happening in Capricorn, it's like the taskmaster, like, okay, y'all done had all this information for at least a decade. Y'all done had Facebook. Motherfuckers been on Facebook 10, 15 years now. You know what I'm saying? Google been popping for a minute. Like, you can literally look up whatever it is that you want to look up. You got everything at the in the palm of your hand. Who doesn't have a smartphone? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not actively seeking the help that you need, the resource that you need, the people that you need, the level of connectivity that you need, the education that you need. Um, if you're not doing the work to like really get your shit together as far as on this physical plane, so that's like taking care of your health, taking care of your mental health, taking care of your kids' health, taking care, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's at this point, there's really no excuse for humanity to be as fucked up as we are. Even in the realm of politics, look at how crazy stuff is right now. It's very, very clear that there is a line between good and evil when it comes to these damn politics at this point. There's still shades of gray. There will always be shades of gray, but like at this point, if you are riding the Trump train, the Trump train, the chump chain, the chump train, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm irritated. But if you ride in his bandwagon, you're fighting with those other forces. You over there on that other side. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of those people, I heard a girl make a point about, um, what did she make a point about? Money and people who are on that wave of like the billionaire train where they're like, oh, these people shouldn't have to pay taxes and whatever, all that mess. They say that like old money tries to hold on to humanity in this human form, this body, so tough. And I believe that. Like these old people, why do you think all these black kids are going missing? I know we're not talking about the full moon no more, but we kind of are, okay? But why do y'all think all these black people and these black kids in particular, are going missing? Because people are scalping their fucking organs. These people who don't have time to wait on a kidney donor and they need this specific blood type, they gonna shell out however much money they need to go collect 10 kids up off the street, because the chances of one of those 10 kids matching up blood types is pretty high. And so they're gonna go do that as opposed to putting themselves on any list and waiting for people to just, naturally die to acquire what it is that they need to sustain a longer life. Have you seen some of these motherfuckers? They literally look like something you would find in Madame Tussauds wax museum. Like they're holding on for a dear life. Like, bro, you were born so long ago. Like at this point, just travel on naturally. Allow yourself to let go, because the people who are on the side of like, I hate to be like good and evil, but it's easier to say it that way. The people who are on the side of the good, who are spiritually aligned with that which is helping their soul evolve and like understanding all of, like I said, the laws that kind of govern this space that we're in. The people who can show gratitude for, you know, the present moment here and now, and understanding that each moment is a gift. You see what I'm saying? And when that time comes that you pass, you just have to pass, and be okay with that, because you don't disappear. Only the flesh does. The people who understand that the soul's journey goes farther than this meat suit can. Those are the people who are on the side of like the Democrats and like, yes, one for all for one. Everybody else is like, no, I need to hold on to this particular meat suit because in this body, in this existence, I have power. And that shit gets people so drunk, bruh. It's ridiculous. But what the masses are starting to understand, have y'all noticed how many tarot readers there are, how many astrologers there are, how people are becoming more keen and privy to this information, and they're understanding, and you're able to have conversations with folks about astrological things and about, esoteric practices, and the vegan train and the vegetarian train. People are trying to feed their bodies better things with more nutrients and like stuff that comes from the earth. There's a new wave coming because a lot more people understand than there are those that don't understand. Okay, and maybe it's even, but like a lot more people are understanding as opposed to how it was 10, 15 years ago. I will say that people are waking up. People are waking up. And so with this energy, it's encouraging everybody to become their own entity. Like, yes, we still have to, abide by the laws of the government, but at the same time, what is the government comprised of? Who does the government answer to? The people. And so people are changing, and we'll see that change happen, in years to come. It might get a little worse before it gets better, and I always say that because It is a fight, it is a battle, it is what it is. You know, but personally in our own lives and within our own bloodlines and the way that we choose to raise these new kids that are coming up, because these kids are freaking different. These kids not the same kids that they was, you know, like with my generation. I know it was a lot of special people, but these new kids are gifted, bro. They're on a whole new wave. You know what I'm saying? And so we're given that responsibility of raising them so that they can create a whole new realm of society. Like, shit is moving way faster now than it ever has before, and it's going to continue to speed up because this whole shit is like a snowball, right? So we're gaining momentum more and more and more. And so the responsibility is greater. And Pluto in Capricorn wants to make sure that we're going to do the right thing for the whole of society. She said that is so true. That's why you gotta keep your eye on your kids at all times, because they don't have the money to get. If you don't have the money to get them back, you're in trouble. And that's another thing. Even as far as like them incarcerating people, I saw this video of this man. Now y'all know they trying to crack down on the subway platforms and stuff. I don't live in a big city where they have subways and stuff like that, but um, I follow a lot of people on Twitter and stuff that do live in big cities. And so there's this guy, he's on the platform, and I guess he's eating his breakfast. He had like a breakfast sandwich. And I guess one of the rules is you can't eat on the train. There's not a rule that says you can't eat on the train platform before you get on the train. Sorry, I got my foot on this thing. There's not a rule that says you can't eat before you get on the train. And so guy's walking, and like as he's walking, you see this police officer that's like holding on to his backpack, and he stops him in his tracks, and he's like, you can't do this. And the dude is like, man, let me go. I'm not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me go. And the police officer is like, no, you're under arrest for resisting arrest. And he's like, what did I do? He's like, you're eating. And they asked him, like, where's there a sign that says we can't eat? You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's definitely a war against us, against a certain type of people. And I'm not saying it's just white against black. I think that it has a lot more to do with your energy vibration, right? But let's be honest, a lot more people carry that vibration who come from the bloodline of colonizers than there are people who come from the vibration of the original people. I'm just going to say that and leave it there. Because I have a lot of, people who do come from the colonizing bloodline that I hold very dear to me, and I feel like they don't carry that same karma, that same energy, that same weight. But it's really up to each individual person how you use your energy and how you exercise your privilege, right? Because there are white people who understand that they have white privilege and they use it to help dismantle the bullshit ass establishment, which I'm so grateful for those people, because we need all the help we can get, essentially. But at the end of the day, there's a war against the majority of this planet, the working class majority. And so I just encourage people to educate themselves on not only finances, but like all of the resources that are available. If you have a dream, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Invest in it, do it the right way. Educate yourself on what it is that you need to know. Go about it the right way. Don't try to cheat yourself, because when you cheat yourself, you're not going to end up in that space of longevity. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to last. It's just going to come and go. And then what's the point of that? And also, one thing that I've noticed with this Mars energy being in Libra, a lot of people are going for like job interviews, promotions, and I mean, it might also be the fact that it's holiday season, and people want to make a couple extra dollars, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like even on a more long-term scale, like with the actual career that you've chosen or within your actual life purpose, people are making big moves right now. And I think this will continue and up until well into 2020. Like, people are really like, if you are who you say you are, come sign this contract and do this job and like show and prove. And people are knocking that shit out. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having more than enough. Yes, this is a whole new breed of kids, Pam. A whole new breed of kids. Miss Vernell, you want me to do a class on tarot? I will schedule that for this week. I will do because you're saying the elements plus the cards, yes. So we can talk about tarot cards and their meanings. I'm going to write that note right now. As soon as I find a pencil, 1 second, y'all. I do want to let you guys know I am doing full moon readings tonight for anybody who would like one. I said I was going to start talking about my own full moon chart, which I can right now, but I got so distracted, it's ridiculous. I had to let y'all know that rant real quick so y'all know it's real shit happening, okay? So Miss Vernell wants to see tarot cards and meanings per suit and element. Which is funny because I actually have a series written down for that. I was gonna do that after I did some other stuff, but that could definitely be up next because that's an easy one. I can knock that out real quick. All right, y'all. So I have my chart pulled up with the transits. I can actually show y'all real quick. Let me switch this thing around. All right. If you can see it, drop a one in the chat. If you can see this clearly, drop a one in the chat because I don't want it to be looking weird or anything like that. So this is my natal chart. Let me get my pencil. This is my natal chart in the middle here. And then everything on the outside, that's the transiting planets going on right now. So, as you guys can see, full moon is here. The moon is happening here right now, which is on the cusp of Taurus. It's actually only within that first degree of Taurus, which is dope because that's dope. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm distracted right now. Okay, I'm focused. So yeah, it's happening like at 1 degrees Taurus. And it's actually falling into, I was right, my 11th house, not my 12th house. And so what this would mean for me would be the way that I'm entering into society, the way that I engage with people and talk to people who share the same interests as me is going to be illuminated right now. Even so much as to say, how I'm conducting myself on the live and interacting with you guys, to interaction with friend groups and just anywhere where groups of people meet up to share in the same sort of interest. And some people also say that the 11th house is a house of windfall, so the house of good fortune and good luck and stuff like that. The house of individuality and what your gifts are and how you can utilize your gifts to help the whole of humanity is also the 11th house. So I would say, yeah, my astrology definitely falls into there. My social skills and my social climate falls into there as well, and it's opposing this fifth house. Or it's actually over here. Oh, it's at the very end of my fifth house here. So yeah, it's opposing this sun here, which falls into Scorpio, which my houses are a little bit skewed just via my rising sign. So it falls into my sixth house of employment, like I told y'all earlier. I knew I was on point with that one. So the pull is between my social life, right? Who I am individually within my character, and then how I present myself in my daily life as opposed to that. So this is like, oh, I work at a call center during the day and I'm like employee of the month. And then in opposition with, oh, but I'm also an astrologer and I go to conferences and I have this whole other side to me that the people that I work with wouldn't really, know about unless they knew. So let's see, this Mercury being here in my sixth house as well is going to mean that there's going to be lots of talk surrounding my work, surrounding the place that I report to every single day via my employment, things that go on there, employees, my relationship with other employees there and my coworkers and stuff like that. Also, lots of talk centered around like how I want to improve my life because sixth house is actually ruled by Virgo. Virgo is the planet of everything that I'm saying. So your daily work, your daily routine, your family, and how you service and nurture your family. Also, how let me flip it because I'm sitting looking at this chart. Also, excuse me, how I can improve on the daily processes that I take to take care of my family. Cooking is another thing that you would probably find in the sixth house. If your food is nourishing and fulfilling to your family, that's a thing that can get brought up. How you can change your diet, which is so funny. I just told my whole family, like, we're not eating fast food no more. Like, I've been having so many arguments about that. That's so cute. That's so funny. Arguing, like, don't feed my daughter fast food no more because she is not going to be one of those kids that grows up thinking that it's normal to have fast food, like, multiple times a week. I think every now and then it's fine, but my Mercury and all of that has been centered around that type of thing, like tightening up on that end. Also, I talked to one of my friends about going to the gym like multiple times a week. So taking care of my health is another thing that I'm really starting to try to focus on, because I am looking at myself. I am taking that look at myself via the sun in Scorpio, in my sixth house, and just kind of saying, all right, the way that I see myself, I don't really, I'm not 100% liking it. And I'm going to just be honest with myself. I can do better, you know? And so really making those changes is something that's going to be highlighted for the next 2 weeks for me. And I can feel that, like, before I even, this is my first time looking at this chart. So before I even looked at this chart, that's how I was feeling. And that's the stuff that I'm actually talking about in real life. And then it's opposite my Taurus, which, I mean, not my Taurus, but the moon, which is actually conjunct Uranus right now. So the feelings and emotions are that I need to ground myself, and I need to maybe get with people who have the same goals as me, so that we can really make a change, and using my gifts within astrology and all this type of stuff to help people. That's why I'm on this live right now. And me and my best friend were talking, just exchanging ideas, and that to me is one of the best ways you can help another person, is by coming together and like discussing ways to improve your life. You know, she might think of something that I didn't necessarily think of. Now Uranus is throwing me off because I didn't realize Uranus was conjunct the moon right now. So what that's telling me is that there's an element of surprise that will come with this moon. Um, and it's funny because now that I think about it, some people that I haven't really connected with all like that have been kind of jumping out of the woodworks as far as the, like I said, the friend group thing for me. Um, and like my friends have been really like, hey, let's meet up and do this, let's meet up and do that. And we're usually not like that. Like we all kind of stay in our own little corners of the world. But maybe it's this full moon that's coming up that's inspiring us to sort of do things different, and like want a little more excitement in our lives, and like plan trips and do stuff that we normally don't do. That's Uranus. It's the unpredictable element of everything. Um, let me see. Miss Bruno, you write me a book. Let me read this real quick. In certain places in the state, if you have train transportation up in the air, the metro system will take what? Oh, they want you to eat before you get on the train. And that's what the guy was doing. Miss Burnell, he was eating before he got on the train. He was literally outside. Like, you seen him outside. And the cop was literally hanging onto his bag, like, you're resisting arrest, whatever. Yes, sixth house. The difference between sixth house and 10th house is exactly that. Sixth house is how you conduct yourself, what your routines are, what's expected of you daily, what time you go to bed, what time you wake up at night. It's like the structure of your life. Whereas 10th house is more so your reputation. So it's like the type of position that you have, how much power you have within that position, how much money are you making? Did you go to school for a specialty degree, or like what your purpose is as well? I find that 10th house aligns more with your ultimate purpose, whereas sixth house is just about the right now. Yes. So, I don't know if any of you guys want to do full moon readings. If not, we can move on to something else. Hey, I'm for the people, whatever y'all want. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, I do have a couple other things I can talk about. Let's get into it while I'm here. So we have the moon trine Saturn, which is the last thing that I was on, which is one of those aspects that's going to encourage being grounded and really creating a plan and sticking to it. The moon is also sextile Neptune, which could increase psychic awareness, and being just way more in touch with your emotions and with your instincts. Um, I'm just kind of looking at where everything is right now. Yeah, it's a real instinctual time right now. Where is Neptune? Neptune is up there. Oh yeah, Neptune being in Pisces is definitely more of a psychic awareness of what needs to happen. The last readings that I've been doing this week too, it's funny because everything that I told the people, um, whether it was astrology or tarot, they already knew. Which that kind of rings true for readings overall. Readings are more like a confirmation. That's what I use it as a guidance tool that's going to confirm, you know, the shit that you already know. But sometimes you don't know if you're tripping or not about something, or you don't know exactly how to handle a situation. But once it comes out in the cards, it always sort of hits home and makes sense for people. But lately it's been literally like, no, but I've been like, the stuff that I'll say, they're like, oh my god, I was just talking about that, or oh my goodness, like I literally already knew that. But to hear you say it makes it matter that much more, type of thing. Um, I'm telling y'all right now is a great time to apply some practical magic. Do those manifestations. I say that for every full moon and new moon transit, to be honest. But at the same time, like this grounded energy, when you write things down, I know I'm gonna be doing the 2 cup method. Okay, so you can Google that or YouTube that and see how to do that. There's all types of methods. You can do the manifestation where you write down what it is you want to release and then go outside and then light it on fire, child. Just do it in a place that's gonna be safe. Don't burn nothing up, okay? And that's gonna help you release unwanted energies. Or you can even during the full moon, you can write down things that you want to see more of in your world. Write that list and then put it underneath your pillow or put it inside your pillowcase and just sleep with it for a few nights. Um, but like I said, I want to do a little bit more of an alchemical process with my shit. Like I want to really get into the using materials and stuff like that. I always use my crystals and charge those up during this time because underneath that full moon is going to help strengthen the crystal's energy. Um, so yeah, it's a great time to get into all of that stuff, guys. Mm-hmm. So guys, if you guys are interested in a full moon reading, then you can either leave the super chat down below, or you can leave a PayPal at Nell, or it's actually paypal.me/Nell for a high five. And I can get you in. I'm probably gonna be on this live on this topic for about 20 more minutes. If I don't get any readings, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and come back with something else while I'm available. Because I told y'all I got a few hours to kind of like kill right now. So if you have any other video topics or types of readings that you'd like for me to come back with, you can leave those here. That would be really, really helpful. Um, Oh, wow, there's another note on here that I didn't read to you guys. It says Saturn sextile Neptune, material gain and results from spiritual connectivity. It's time to get into it, y'all. There's not no more time left to be playing. If you in your spiritual bag and you know about this type of stuff, it's time to start putting these things in action. Put this stuff in motion. Um, the veil is already thin. You know, people say that every year around Halloween. It does feel like that though. Where I got you, Miss Vernell. It does feel like that though, usually around fall, because that's when we get cast into the darkness via the Earth's tilt and stuff like that. And so you're in the house more. You're like, it's just a time to go inward. You know what I mean? After that harvest, and like the earth gets covered in that crust, and like snow is coming down and stuff like that. For us, it feels like time to go to the drawing board and start conjuring some shit up. So like, whatever you want your reality to be like in 2020, it's only November. Actually, it's the second to last month. So like, if you don't already have a plan, it's time to start hatching a plan and working towards that plan on at least a weekly basis. I would say a daily basis, for real, for real. Saturn likes to see that every day in, day out, doing the work. Pluto is like, girl, if you don't do it in this lifetime, you'll do it in the next one. So you better learn how to discipline yourself at some point. Um, and then Scorpio is the sign of like death and rebirth. So it's definitely time to bust out as a brand new person. It's time to shed away any of those layers that just aren't helping you be the person you really want to be. Because during 2020, everybody gonna be in their bag. Y'all can mark my words. Y'all can timestamp this video. I don't give a shit. Like, it's coming. Okay, so if you want to feel good about yourself, if you want to feel accomplished, if you want to feel like you're in the game, get your shit together before 2020. Get your shit together before 2020. Ms. Vernell, you asked a question. It says, can you talk about the 11th and 12th house more, and what they entail for us in society? Okay. So 11th and 12th houses tend to be the houses that people have a little more trouble discerning, um, simply because they're the last two houses. When we talk about the zodiacal wheel, it starts at Aries. Aries being the baby, the infant, the immature one, the spark. Taurus is once the baby realizes that it needs certain things to sustain. It's the nurturing of the mother, the food that it eats, the shelter that it has, right, to keep this baby alive. Gemini is once the baby decides to start communicating. It learns the art of language and connectivity between two separate entities, right? Me and you. Gemini, Cancer. Cancer is the evolved love of the mother. I think Taurus is the mother's love. Cancer is once the baby realizes, like, damn, you're my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't just been surviving in this boy. Like, I actually have a house that we live in, and you cook for me every day, and you're nurturing me, and you're feeding me, and you're attending to me emotionally, right? So Cancer is where our heart lies. It's how we connect to those emotionally. It's how we learn how to love, okay? Then we have Leo. Leo is how we learn how to love ourselves, and where we realize that we're the star of our own picture. Then we have Virgo, which is like how we learn to service others, um, how we see the art of perfecting that which is, right? Refinement is also Virgo. Seventh house would be Libra. Libra is refinement, even past functionality, but the refinement just on an aesthetic, pleasurable level, right? Libra is about making things look good, making things seem good, making things harmonious, pleasing other people through you, and presenting yourself in the best way possible. And like Virgo is doing the work so that Libra can show off. And then there's the eighth house, which is once Libra shows off and creates these partnerships with people and attracts people and attracts all this love and all this interest. Eighth house is how you actually delve into the darkness together. It's what true intimacy looks like. Not just the Libran, oh, we're a couple, we're together, don't we look cute together? Let's take a picture for the gram. Scorpio is like, okay, but did you pay these bills? Brush your teeth. Why you didn't do these dishes? That's Scorpio. Scorpio wants to know the real shit about like daily living and like the family and making sure that the kids are good and the parents are good on their way, as they get older and stuff like that. Ninth house is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is where you want to release yourself from all the attachments and finally go on the soul's journey. Sagittarius is the sign of higher learning, expanding your view past just how you relate to other people. It's about how you relate to the world, what your place is in the world, what type of person you truly are once you come out of that space of like codependency and you're going into that like, because we come in the world alone and then we understand what it means to connect and relate to other people, and then we leave the world alone, and then we come into the world again and we relate to more people and we have experiences, and then we leave again. So Sagittarius is where we begin to leave again, right? And then we have the 10th house, which is your reputation. So it's like once you figure out that there are different ways to live outside of just how you were raised and the people that you know, right? You're going on a totally different side of the world and you see that they do things differently. Once you come back, or when you go into these places, what types of experiences do you carry with you that will warrant other people's respect? What have you learned that makes you who you are? What types of titles do you hold? What type of money do you have you acquired? What type of lifestyle have you created for yourself through your soul's journey? And how should we treat you? Are you a bum, or are you the president? Right? It's very, very about status quo and class and like qualifications and all of those things. Purpose, even. Because after you come out of that ninth house, which is the soul's journey, you're either going to come out of that feeling like you want to go more into um, that spiritual understanding, or on that spiritual journey, or you're going to feel like you're more tied to the earth and you want to acquire more and have more titles added onto your name and like spend more time doing more earthly things. Do you see what I'm saying? I think the best people find a way to merge the two. I think that that's like the key to really elevating yourself, and that's all that 10th house is about, is making it to the next level of evolution. So 10th house can actually get really complex. It's one of my favorite houses. Maybe it's because I have Venus there. I can really appreciate 10th house. um, then you have the 11th house. So the 11th house is what happens after you've already had the relationships with people, and after you've already created more of an identity for yourself and a box for yourself. It's like, how are you going to use all of these experiences and all of this testimony to make yourself valuable to the collective? That's 11th house for me. And so in 11th house, you find your uniqueness. You find the area of your life where you learn to identify with a certain aspect of your personality, and then you connect with people who are sort of on the same mission as you. For me, my 11th house is in actually in Aries. So I really connect with people who are self starters. I really connect with those who understand that you got to get it on your own. And once you learn how to eat by yourself, then we can eat together. And I like independent people. I'm a very independent person. I'm the type of person that really can relate to you when you're like trying to make something happen and you're just like going, going, going. Like I love motivation. Like people who love waking up in the morning and working out in the morning and like watching your TED Talks and writing your list and like just people who can take action and do things with their time and with their day and like who don't wait for other people to give them things. Like even the way that I came into astrology, which is one of the things that I would say defines me as a person. I started studying it on my own. I didn't think that people in the world gave a shit about astrology. I'm thinking it's this esoteric, occult, taboo subject, and like I remember when I used to talk about it and look it up and stuff, people would be looking at me crazy as hell. But I didn't care because I got that Aries sitting right there. And so I'm shameless. I'm like, okay, you can do whatever you want, believe in whatever you want, but I know this shit to be true. And I'm gonna do my own research. I don't need to necessarily go to school for it. I'm gonna do my own damn research and I'm gonna conduct my own studies and figure this stuff out for myself. And then it got to the point where I started wanting to be an entrepreneur and create a business out of it. And so I found a way to do that all on my own with nobody's help. Um, and I'm not saying that there weren't people out there who influenced me, but like essentially I came into the idea on my own, and it wasn't until I was already in motion that I started to see that wow, there are other people out there like me who had that sense of like taking initiative and like really getting shit started for themselves. All of my friends have businesses. All of my friends run something. Like we're all people who are leading the pack. You know what I'm saying? I tend to attract leaders. If you're not a leader, you're going to be offended by me because I'm going to be too much for you. I'm very strong-willed, right? And so the groups of people that I attract into my life and the people who tend to take me in are people who understand that level of, I'm just kind of cutthroat and shit. People tell me all the time, like, you so raw. Yeah, those are the people who end up understanding me and being my friends. I'm sure that all of you guys like have a certain element of like spice to y'all because I be on here cussing, saying whatever I gotta say. Like y'all don't judge me for it because y'all know that that's just my personality. I'm passionate, so I don't tend to attract boring people to my life. Boring people and me don't really get along. Um, on point with the Cancer. I'm glad you felt like that, Pam. I have a lot of Cancers in my life. I always tell y'all my daughter's a Cancer moon, so I have to kind of be like aware of what they're going through because they are a tough one to understand too, especially up close. Virgo Sun, Aries Moon, Pisces Rising. That's interesting. Sleepwalker. Facts. You're so self-oriented, but not in a bad way. Yeah. Like I'm not. I am selfish. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna sit in your face and like do something super super selfish to like put me in a good position and you in a bad one. But at the same time, if the situation calls for it, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm learning how to be that way for real, and how to accept myself as that. Because what y'all also might not know is I have a Libra moon, so I'm always wanting to connect with people and like help people and stuff. But like truly deep down inside, my real friends know I'm not like that. My real friends know I'm just like you gotta have you and I'm gonna have me, and then we gonna meet in the middle and we all gonna be good. Okay? Can't hang with no broke hoes. Can't hang with no. You can't make it happen. You too slow. You too soft. You can't really be around me. Yeah, I'm crazy. I can't. I'm not gonna deal with that. But it's beautiful once everybody gets their shit together, and like all my friends are such bosses. Like every single friend I have is a boss. They either run their own business, the job that they have achieved some sort of, you know, boost in the hierarchy. They're at a certain level on the totem pole with their job or something like that, or just like in society they can go out here and just make moves. Like I only attract people like that. I know you playing, but for real, like people be looking at me like this girl is nuts. Like no, I'm just real. I'm too honest for a lot of people. So that's 11th house. 11th house is how you identify who it is that you end up running into that's gonna really appreciate your gifts. Who it is that's gonna be able to bring out the best in you. Damn it. And and who you're gonna really feel accepts you for the things that make you unique and not shun you for the things that make you unique. And then 12th house is where you take, so 10th house is your reputation. 11th house is you being, I have a piece of hair in my face, is you being um, recognized for all the work that you've done and the unique person that you've become. 12th house is where it all falls apart. 11th house is like who we think we are. It's Aquarius. So Aquarius thinks that they're like the end all be all. Like I am an Aquarius. I know this for a fact, okay? So 11th house thinks that it's like the most unique one, like the most evolved human, which a lot of people, Pink, what's up? But a lot of people might actually agree with that. That Aquarians are very detached from humanity because they're kind of watching everybody else make stupid human mistakes, and they're like, yeah, I probably did block your ass. You be saying some crazy shit. Um, I'll go look if you promise to be nice. But yeah, so 11th house Aquarius thinks that it's reached the pinnacle of human development. You can't tell Aquarius nothing at all. Can't tell them shit. Um, and they're watching the rest of you just be fleshy and human and fall and like say dumb shit, and your emotions get you caught up, and like Aquarius just doesn't have time for any of that. So they're like halfway check the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to like even I'll use my job. I hope nobody ever finds these videos from my job. But like when I go in there, I'll be so checked out. I don't know what the fuck they be talking about. Unless it's somebody that's over me and they're giving me dang, my audio messed up. I wish I would have told me. Thank you, Pink. But yeah, unless it's somebody that's telling me like, hey, this is what we're getting ready to do, or like the speaker at a conference or something like that. I'm not in there paying attention to none of these people. I could care less, honey, because I don't care what y'all talking about. It's not even a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not a family, like go into a situation and be all in everybody's business type of person. I go in, I have a seat, I might look at my phone, twiddle my thumbs, take some notes. All right, y'all. Everybody be easy. Excuse me. Everybody be good. You know, and it's all love. It's not that I don't like people, but I don't feel the need to connect with people every time I'm around people. If you catch me on a good day, or if we're having a conversation about something, or if you bring me out of my shell, that's a different story. But just like naturally, I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna wanna enter in, and I know that that makes me stand out and it makes me unique, and it's actually something I really value about myself, because I'm not a fake ass person. If I'm not interested in you, I'm not going to fake and act like I am just to get information or just so you can like me or any of that stuff. Oh, it's my heater. I'm not turning that heater off, y'all. I'm sorry. It's cold as hell. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, so then 12th house is where your ideas of yourself and who you think you are and who people tell you are don't matter no more. 12th house is like everything goes and just dissipates. It all goes to dissolve because it's the human psyche undoing itself so that you understand that you don't understand a motherfucking thing. 12th house and Pisces want you to know that even when you think you have control and you have a grip on this realm that we call reality, there's a whole nother realm of shit that's happening that we know nothing about. Have you met God personally and seen this nigga's face? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know God personally in my heart. I know God through situations and things that happen in my life where it's like, this is unexplainable. This is too uncanny. Like, I give it to my faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have such huge faith in the creator, in the universe, and that this universe is perfectly orchestrated for me and us, that I know some stuff that happens has to be God. But at the same time, there are certain things that we will never know about God. There are certain things we will never know about the universe. There are certain things we will never be able to make it make sense, because in this realm where there's a certain there's laws, right? I keep saying that, but there's laws that we have to abide by. um those laws put a little ceiling over certain shit. The humanity is never going to know more than what we're supposed to know at any given point in time, because this shit is divinely orchestrated. So Pisces is where that whole, hey fun user, that whole idea of that which lies beyond our understanding, that's where it is. And so you find things like the mind, the subconscious mind. The actual mind would be third house, and fourth house a little bit, excuse me, because these two talk about um how you're raised to think, and what your early childhood conditioning has been, what your settings are, right? Via how you were brought up. But the 12th house is actually like, that's where you came from before you were even born. Like before we even get here, we agreed to certain terms and conditions, like certain things that we want to experience when we're here. So after you're born and you make it all the way through the wheel and then you go back into that 12th house, it's kind of like undoing this flesh suit. Like I said, there's some people that understand that we are more than just the skin. I could cut this finger off and I'm still me. I could cut my whole damn hand off and I'd still be me. You see what I'm saying? I could die tomorrow and my legacy will still be what it is because there is something activating all of this. Oh my gosh, all these facial expressions, I'm doing that because I'm thinking that I can and you know what I'm saying? I'm activating my meat suit to do certain stuff. And so, yeah, we find the subconscious mind there. That's where the soft part of our brains lie, and we're able to actually be programmed, you know. So, damn, it goes so deep. So, it's like, it's also ancestral trauma um, being transferred to us through our lineage. So 12th house is also where you will find sort of the presets of your family. Like, you ever realize that you look a lot like a certain family member? It might not be your mom, it might not be your dad, it could be grandma, it could be an aunt, it could be a cousin. And then some people might share certain traits of certain family members that have passed on. I'm a firm believer that like lineage goes so much deeper than just your parents. It's like a bloodline type of thing. And so within that 12th house, you can find that you have certain traits about yourself that just are you. Like, you ever known a child that never knew their parent? Like, maybe the baby was born and within the early childhood years, the parent dies, but the child still acts exactly like the parent. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's stuff that's passed down to us through our ancestral experience, if that makes sense. I'm not using the right words for y'all. Let me know if that makes sense, y'all. Wow, I actually have 48 Laws of Power. I still haven't finished the book. I wonder what section is that in, Miss Vernell? I'll go get that book right now. It's sitting on my bookshelf. Yeah, so if you have a Pisces ascendant, that's gonna be like supreme empathic abilities to connect with people. I think that everybody's an empath. I think that everybody's a narcissist, actually. But I do feel like people who have that Pisces on the ascendant, it's easier to pick up on their receptive nature. And that's what I mean. 12th house in Pisces is where you receive. And so it's where you find, I'm gonna be real with y'all, psychics. A lot of psychics inherit their psychic nature. Like, there's bloodlines of people who are gifted with that ability, and a lot of times they get it from their family, and people might not ever know, but it's like, damn, I knew you were getting ready to call me before the phone even rang, type shit, you know. And a lot of times that comes from your bloodline. 12th house Aquarius, you want to rebel so bad you might not even realize that you rebel from things without trying, or you run from tradition without trying. That's what 12th house Aquarius would give me. um because Aquarius, wherever Aquarius is, that it just wants to be free to make its own decisions and to bump its head and do things its way. But then eventually Aquarius does get it together and it has great ideas, but they just don't always know how to execute those ideas. And Aquarius can also be a little bit flighty, so like having way more ideas than they're able to execute. I think it's also interesting that in astrology, the 12th house is also where mental institutes and prison and hospitals go, because a lot of times that's where people live their lives out and pass away, right? And once you're in those places, it's kind of like you're just waiting to kind of go and kick the bucket. I'm not gonna lie. And then it also talks about people not always being within their body, but their body's being kept. So like, if you're in an insane asylum, it's probably because your mind is not with your body. And so it's a place that we put people to be able to have a little space away from society to be able to just like do their own thing and go into whatever dimension they're in, right? I find that very interesting. As well as prison, it's a place where we exile people to, um, and you have nothing but your thoughts, nothing but you're facing nothing but your subconscious mind when you're there, because you're not a part of society anymore. Pisces is not a part of society. Pisces is ready for like the next level of transcendence. And it's unfortunate because like people with Pisces placements, I don't want to be like, you're gonna go to jail one day. But sometimes Pisces in the waking world, like in their real life, can do things that they don't even realize. Like this isn't fitting in line with the rest of how society see things. Like, whoa, hold up. If you go and act on your emotions and kill that person, you're gonna end up in jail for the rest of your life. But in that moment, Pisces is not even thinking on that realm. They're just like, bitch, you did this, I'm finna do that. And whatever happens, I ain't even thinking about the consequences because at that point, my whole life will mean something. Like that's really how Pisces be thinking and feeling sometimes. Like Erica Badu, she's a Pisces, and I love my baby. Like I love Erica, but remember when she said that shit about Hitler and had everybody all up in an uproar? She's like, but Hitler is a real person. And yes, Hitler is. Hitler actually was an amazing artist. He went to school to be an artist. He just so happened to fall into that realm of like, um, you know, he modeled his shit after American racism, is what a lot of people don't fucking know. But yeah, he fell into that wormhole, and then his whole thing became, let me become obsessive about this new reality that I can create. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's not the Pisces. The Pisces is Erica, where Erica was like, we should still love him. And people didn't understand, like, what do you mean love a person that caused a whole genocide of a group of people? What? You know, and she was just trying to say, hey, we can create a new wave where we don't have to cancel people for being people. And I got it. Like, I honestly understood it. I try not to voice that opinion too much because people really be big mad. But, like, also, people who do heinous things, that doesn't mean that they're not human. Yes, you should have to, you know, fess up and be accountable for the things that you do. Nobody's saying Hitler is a great person. He did a horrible, heinous, unforgivable thing. Like it just is what it is. But at the end of the day, I feel like for me, my mind goes to like reform. Like how can we actually get people to recondition themselves to be better? But society is not there yet. Society just wants it to be like when you do something wrong, you go into this space. So Erica trying to be so progressive, like we haven't caught up to where Erica is yet. We're not there yet. We're not there. And most Pisces, they love people so much to the point where they end up damning themselves. If you're still here with me, please like this video. I'm available to do live readings as well. I'm kind of trying to focus on astrology. So if you guys don't want full moon readings right now, I can do some moon and rising readings. I did a couple of those last night on the last live. So if you like that reading, you can go ahead and make a donation to the super chat down below, the little S that's next to the chat box, or you can go to paypal.me/Nell for high vibe and we can get that popping. But yeah, I'm just talking to y'all for right now. So 12th house is that Pisces level of like wanting to be unchained and just free and how things should be, not necessarily how things always are. Like Jesus was one of those people who I think represents that Piscean energy. He loved everybody. Didn't matter what you did, he was always going to forgive you because he understands that we are of the flesh. We here to make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up getting his ass killed because, you know, he just had so much faith. And then his faith even led him to the point where, you know, they end up coming to where he was buried and resurrecting him and stuff like that. Like that is so Piscean. Like the martyr for one, you'll die for your beliefs and for your people, and then for two, the rebirth, the resurrection, um, and that's just sort of what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's another energy of that transcendent quality that I feel like Pisces really has. That's another example of it. Um, so yeah, that's 12th house for me. And it's also in astrology, a lot of times people say 12th house is where you find that you can't access those planets. Like you know, you can program your subconscious and stuff like that, but at the same time, that's not something that you just do just because you say you're gonna do it. Like you gotta kind of know how to do that. Um, but like verbatim, literally, a lot of the research that I've done on 12th house says that some astrologers feel like whatever planet it is that you have there, then you're not going to be able to pull it to the forefront. So like people that have 12th house suns, they have a hard time identifying themselves. They have a hard time finding themselves. They tend to model their the way that they see themselves based on how they think other people see themselves. If you have a moon there, a lot of times those people can be triggered so deeply emotionally, but like if you talk to them, they'll be like, I don't have emotions. But it's like, no, you emotional as fuck. You just don't realize it because you can't access that emotion how you think you're supposed to. Me personally, I have my Mars there in the 12th house. And so a lot of times I'm spent thinking about what I want to do as opposed to doing what I want to do. I have to constantly tell myself like get up and do it, you know. And it's well aspected in my chart, which is kind of like a plus. But at the same time, there's lots of people I'm sure around the world who are like, what is she doing? Like I don't tell people when I do stuff. I just don't. If I'm getting ready to go to the store, I'll be like, okay, I'll be right back. I don't say I'm getting ready to go to the store to get this and that. I might be like, do you need anything? But I'm not gonna tell you everything I'm getting ready to go do. You just not gonna know that. But I do stuff solo because it's like I have to think about it and then I have to write a list, which is extracting information from your subconscious. Then I have to go do it. If it's just in my mind, 9 times out of 10, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna forget. That's just what it is. That's how I access my Mars and my 12th house. You see what I'm saying? So I have to do the work in order to be able to really tap into the power of my 12th house planet. Um, what's another one? Another good one. Mercury in the 12th house could feel like you really can't relate to people. Like it's really hard for you to talk to people and to feel understood or to feel like other people understand your train of thought. These people could be very bizarre acting. Um, Venus in the 12th house could mean that either you get taken advantage of sexually and like in situations and circumstances your needs and likes and wants and the way that you prefer things to be might not always be fulfilled or known. People might not even know what your expectations are if your Venus is in the 12th house, or how to serve you. But like when you're alone, you could feel like everything is all good when you are able to be in your own space and you can really show your appreciation. But like as far as sharing that emotion with another person, it might be pretty hard having Venus in the 12th. Neptune and Uranus in the 12th house could be like, hey Ajane, how are you? But yeah, having Neptune and Uranus in the 12th house could be like um not really knowing how to get a hold of your mind, not understanding how to quiet your mind or how to stay committed to things because you might be the type of person that um, acts off of like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Y'all know what that is, where whatever it is that you proclaim is going to happen actually ends up happening. So like the self-fulfilling prophecy looks like you having a relationship with somebody and you keep saying this is not going to work out because they're to this, and then by the end of it all it falls apart because they're to whatever it is that you said they were. Or you're like, oh, today's going to be a horrible day, and then it ends up being the worst day of your life. That's the self-fulfilling prophecy. People that have Neptune and Uranus in the 12th house would probably be like easily fall into that trap, simply because wherever Uranus is, you want to rebel. So it's like being hella indecisive in your mind, and also um, not expecting things to go as you plan them. So always expecting for the rug to be pulled from up underneath you. And Neptune is just not seeing things clearly. So if you have Neptune in your 12th house, it could be really, really hard for you to dissect your own mind, to know what your own thoughts are, or to know yourself enough to be solid and build like a really secure personality. I'm trying to say 12th house Neptune people might be a little insecure, but I don't want to just say it like that. That sounds really bad, but it's true. They could be a little off kilter, dealing with their mental health. Uranus and Neptune in the 12th house. Mental health needs to be tended to because if not, you'll unravel. Um, just because they both want to escape. They don't want things to be regular or normal. It always has to be a fantasy or an issue or some sort of drama that comes along with those two planets. Saturn in the 12th house, you could feel like it's really, really hard for you to build a foundation, for you to build a reputation, for you to build stamina, right, and longevity for yourself. Um, it could also be hard for you to stay in line with the rules. You could find yourself being challenged a lot by authority when in your mind you just going along through life, minding your own business, but in reality that's not really what's happening. Um, because what you don't see is that you're not acting within the ways of the land. Like I said earlier, like you're not really being grounded in reality. If you have a 12th house Saturn, reality is hard for you to grasp onto. I already talked about the sun. I talked about the moon. Jupiter in the 12th house. You could feel like you really don't have access to um, luck. It could feel like your luck is always evading you and always like running from you. It might be hard for you to acquire a break in life. But also I feel like something about Jupiter in the 12th house like would be an expanded psyche. So there could be a expanded internal world, whereas the world that you see when you're, awake and in reality, it might not be as vast as your imagination. Because wherever Jupiter is, it expands things and it makes things greater. Um, and I feel like if a person with Jupiter in the 12th house tapped into their own like co-creating abilities, they would actually have really good luck and being able to pull things in with their subconscious. But if you're not connected to your subconscious mind with a Jupiter in the 12th house, it's gonna feel like the real world is not gonna reflect back to you good things necessarily. Um, Pluto in the 12th house could be a deep, deep tie to your subconscious mind. You could be plagued by like nightmares, dreams, just thoughts that are a little bit more on the destructive side. I feel like that type of person would be very hard. Like it would be hard for them to hold on to the positive aspects of life because you'd be expecting things to sort of fall apart to a certain extent with Pluto being there in the 12th house. You could expect death. You could expect relationships to fail or just hold people to a really, really, really harsh standard. Like you could be very difficult to deal with. I'm not gonna lie. If you have Pluto in the 12th house, because Pluto is like I said, it sees where things are wrong, and so if your mind is the place where things are wrong, it's like you could be really manipulative with that placement. You could use that placement for bad, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. Because they're keenly aware, and they use that awareness to sort of get information from people and infiltrate other people's systems in order to manipulate and get what they need. So if that Pluto is in that 12th house, it could go either way. Other people could make it a tendency to use you, or you could, without even realizing it, be using other people. And I think that's all the planets, y'all. Yep. North Node in the 12th house. Let's talk about that because I love the North Node. North Node in the 12th house with me, you really need to get more deep into like your spirituality and really dissecting your own mind in order to move into the type of person that you are supposed to be. So if you have North Node in the 12th house, even Saturn in the 12th house, even Sun in the 12th house, I think these people have a tendency towards um, counseling other people because they realize that they need counseling themselves. And so, since they understand that their own, like how packed and deeply like suppressed their own mind is, a lot of times these people have interest in psychology. And so you see these being the types of people who do studies on, human behavior, or they go into therapy, or they go into counseling and stuff like that because they realize that they really needed somebody in their life to help them untangle that mess. And so they do the work in the real world to study and become the person that can service other people in that way, if that makes sense. That's the way to, I think, really get into your 12th house placements is get in touch with your spirituality, get in touch with your mental state, and yeah, those two things, your faith and your mentality. You really got to have a heavy bottom if you got planets in the 12th house of faith and your mentality. You have a hold on your mind. Um, so all right, y'all. It's been a minute since I've been on here. Y'all don't want no live readings tonight. That's cool. I will be back to do more. So the next thing that I do may have something to do with what Miss Vernell talked about, so the tarot cards, or I might come back and do sun, moon, rising readings tonight because I really want to get more into astrology with y'all. Like, if you're on my channel, you probably have seen lots and lots of tarot content. I really want to get more into the astrology because this is what I really do. This is like my bread and butter here. So tonight, I think that's what I'm going to focus on. I will be back later on in the week though to do tarot readings. As always, if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can always go to nellnicole.com, go to book a session, and look at all the different options that I have. As far as there's a tab for tarot readings and there's a tab for astrology readings, so you can look at those, see the descriptions. All of my readings go for 1 hour, so you can absolutely book a time on there. Or you can email me at nellforhighvibe@gmail.com. One thing that I do ask when you guys book is please give me at least 24 hours notice when you book. I hate it. People sometimes will watch these lives and stuff like that and book me for like an hour from when they're seeing me, and I have stuff scheduled within there. As well, I do still, sorry y'all, receive readings from my email. So sometimes the times that are on nellnicole.com, they look available, but they're not available because I can't just go in and plug stuff in. It works really weird. But so after you book on the website, I will let you know if I can uphold that time for you. If not, I will let you know and I will let you choose a new time. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm gonna watch the stream back purple. I mean pink. I'm so sorry, y'all. It's cold as hell. Somebody said it looks like it's a blizzard behind me, and yes, there is a blizzard going on behind me. I actually didn't have work today because it snowed. Yay! There was so much ice on the road, I didn't have to go. Did I do sun in the 12th house? Yes, I can go over it though, Ajane. So sun in the 12th house, it would be really tough for you to identify yourself and to figure out who you are. It's hard for you to stand up for yourself, to have a really strong ego with that placement. But like what people don't know is you actually do think highly of yourself. It might just be something that only you see and you don't know how to portray it to other people. So you could have a lot of confidence with you and the people that you know, and that you know the people in your life, your mother, your siblings, people that know you. They know how you think about yourself, but like other people, it's gonna be harder for them to see it on you because your son is in a space that's hidden from the public, essentially. Um, and so when you dig deeper into that, you start to see like, wow, I really have blockages as it pertains to my confidence and how I present myself and how I enter into a room and like how I speak about myself and all these different things. I know my daughter has this placement. She might kill me if she ever sees this video. Hi Jane, I love you. But yeah, she has sun in the 12th house, and like one thing that I've noticed that she does, which is so bizarre to me, she picks people like celebrities and she'll be like obsessed with the celebrity and want to do everything like that person. And I know about the copycat syndrome with having sun in the 12th house because when you can't see yourself, you look at how other people do it and you adopt another person's persona almost. So like I'll say, hey Jay, what do you want to go see at the movies today? And she'll pick a movie that she heard her favorite celebrity talking about. And it's like, okay, they want to see that movie, but what movie do you really want to see? And to her, that is the movie she want to see because that's the movie the celebrity wants to see. They said it's hot. I'm about to go see it, you know? So um, watch out for that. I think that is really, really important to reinforce. Like I have her do affirmations and stuff like that, just so she knows like it's okay to have favorites and have people that you look up to, but don't create false icons in your mind. Like if anything, put yourself on that same pedestal and know that what you think and what you like really matters as well. So that's the interesting thing about having the sun there. Moon there would indicate more of a psychic type of connection and an emotional connection with the self and like processing things emotionally to the point where other people will never know what you're going through. That's 12th house moon. So still hidden, the hidden aspect, but it's more so your emotions being hidden. But really, those people end up just letting their emotions come out of their ass. like like I said, if you talk to a 12th house moon person, they'd be like, oh no, I'm not emotional at all, I don't feel things. But no, every single thing that you do subconsciously, you don't even realize is triggered by your emotions. So it's a really crazy dynamic that happens there with the 12th house and personal planets. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off of here and conduct a plan to come back and do some more readings for you guys. If you have any ideas, you can always follow me on Twitter and hit me up and say, hey, Dale, can you come through and do these mini readings? I really want one, and I will honor those. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe for more videos like it. And I'll see you guys later. Deuce.